Hello people, this is JR, and I am here to do a tutorial here on Planeshift. This is an mmorpg, and the reason why I am doing this is because this is a game I played in the past and I came back and it's changed a bit, but I've tried looking up tutorials in the past or just videos of playing this game, and there aren't very many out there. And the few that are out there are outdated, or they are people who are like, you are going to figure this out together, and sure, that's good for some games, but this is kind of a game that can be frustrating. So, I don't know if you've already played this game or if you haven't, but this video is going to be mostly covering the basics, the interface, how to move around, how to interact with NPCs and use the chat, and just basic stuff that you need to know. Hopefully, if you got through the tutorial, you'll know most of this, or if not, hopefully this will help you. So, where I'm at right now is in the main area you come when you get out of the tutorial, because you're going to come out of here. And I do suggest taking the tutorial when you first start. It is a lot of reading, very a lot of reading, but it's useful. It is. You do get a couple items, you start to build a skill set, and you're introduced into the various associations, which is really important. You know, you get a little bit of the science association, a little bit of the crafting association through smithing, but it doesn't cover all the skills that you have. So first thing I guess we'll talk about is moving around. It's pretty basic. It's set up like pretty much any game that you play. You use A, W, S, D, and spacebar, and then Shift W walks, or if you hit Control, you can switch it out so that W does this and Shift makes it run. Up to you. That's important to know. Hopefully you already know that. And then E does that. Q goes this way, and this of course is if you're using a Windows, because that's what I'm running this on. So I'm gonna get somewhere where there's a little bit more light. Actually, here, do that. Okay, so this is the main area. And so first thing to cover is you got this little kind of diamond shape up here. This is going to be where you can access most of the interface. That's for communication, which gets rid of the chat box down here. In the communication you have the main, which this is where anything that happens to you, any interaction that you have when you're fighting is going to show up here, like damage dealt, damage you've received, ranking up in skills, as that's going to show up there. Same with communication between players. And remember, just something to note, this is a role-playing game, so when talking to other people, try to do so speaking as your character, not as you. They really like that in the server, and a lot of people think it's rude if you talk to them out of character. NPC covers any information if you go and talk to the non-players. Non-players have blue names over them, and that's how you interact with them. If you right-click, you can see a description, which covers a bit of information about this person, and also a little bit more if you want to read into what they look like, different things like that. If you right-click again, you can talk to them. You can ask some questions. They're not very good at answering them, but this is the menu where you would access quests. And then whisper, well, it's pretty basic. It's when you want to whisper to another player. And then help, you can get help from a game master or other players if something happens and you need help. Next on the list is the buddy list. This is where it's going to show a list of your friends. You can add it, add, remove. I don't see a lot of people asking to be put on buddy lists. It's a small server. Usually there's about, on their statistics, they say that they have about 120, maybe a little bit more than that, every month on there. But at any one time, I noticed that there's only around 25, like 25 to 35. Yeah, like there's 28 on here right now. Okay, next is going to be your stats and skills. This is the main window for stats and skills. You're going to see here a lot of these are basics preset according to which character class you choose. You know, like I'm an Inki who are very agile, and not very much of anything else besides that. And the parentheses are what happens when you get sick or something like that. Your agility goes down, your charisma goes down. I recently died, so I have Daku's curse on me that I just returned from the death realm, so I'm very weak. Also on here, this is where you're going to see how close you are to different associations. You're going to see how well your skills are in these different categories. Combat, obviously. There's a lot of these that you can train in. And just fighting with whatever weapon you use in this area will help increase that. Then there's magic, of course, and then jobs, which covers a variety of stuff that you can do for trades. You can train in these, you can sell. This is the best way to make money. And then various is, there's a lot of stuff in here, and I'm not sure how much of it's actually implemented, but there's a lot of things you can learn in here. Okay, and then up here on this here, it's your health and your physical stamina, which correlates to how far you can run. Your mana is able to cast spells, which mine's out right now because of Daku's curse. And then M stamina, that's mental stamina. Anything that requires you to use your brain is going to drain from that bar. That includes a lot of crafting skills, a lot of like herbalism, alchemy are two I know from my personal experience that drain from mental stamina when you're trying to learn something. And also spells and learning spells drain from that. Then down here you're going to see what's called practice points and Tria. Tria is the currency, and practice points, you receive those when you train in various skills by doing that skill. Like when you go and you fight something, as you fight you gain practice points which you have to use in order to buy skills. And your skills, you have to go find a trainer to do that. Hopefully that's clear. I'll go a little bit more into that on another video. Moving on, group stats, this is for if it's this little box here, and it's when you create a party, then you can see their stats too. That way you guys can keep tabs on each other. And that's great if you're somebody who has to be a healer. Inventory is your inventory. This here is the stuff that you can equip. This is how much weight you can carry, which is all the stuff in your inventory, your capacity, and your currency, once again. And yeah, so a lot of that. And then there's also stacks you can get to organize your stuff into, but it still counts as part of the weights. It's just a way to take up less slots. Petitions are a way for you to send requests to the game masters if you need something. Quests is where whenever you talk to an NPC and you accept a quest from them, they are going to show up in this list here. You can click on it to see in the description some more information about it, where you're at it. The descriptions are a lot less informational. They have a lot less information than when you actually talk to the NPC. Some of the quests, I think it's good to know, is that they're going to be asking for a specific word that somebody else told you that doesn't show up in here. And if you don't have that word, you can't finish the quest. So you can use the notes here and type in, you know, they said this word, and then hit save. And then if you come back, that will show up there. You know, if you go out, oops, go out and go back in, you click on that, and it shows up. Very useful. That's shortcuts, which is this bar up here. I love using this bar. It's great. You can see your health up here easily, and it's got some commands instead of, like for example, if you want to, which I can't do that because I don't have any mana, but if you wanted to use a spell, you normally would have to open up your spell book and click on it and hit cast, or you could type it down the bottom and do cast and name off the spell. But instead, you could right click on here on any of the tabs, there's a lot of them, and input the command here, and then that way while you're running, all you have to do is click that and it does it for you. It's easy. Very nice, very easy to use. Next up is, again, Spellbook, which I already opened this, but this is where you're going to see a list of the spells you can do and research more. And then this here is the window that you research them in. I'll go into that a little bit more later, or you can play around with it yourself. This here is, let me move this over here. Come on. Okay, this box right here is called the active magic bar, and basically what it is it lets you know if you have like raging fever, a curse, or if you take a potion or a tea, that's going to show up there too. It just says the name. You'll have to figure out what the effect is by going into your stats and skills or looking at your information bar. Next is guild information. If you're in a guild, you can also make a guild here, but you have to have 5 members at all times. Options, and that's pretty basic. The information is this box over here. This box is going to tell you 2 o'clock, you know, time. It's going to tell you the time of the day. This is going to be your stance you take when you do combat. You can stop the attack. You can be on full defensive, which means that you won't get hurt, but you won't also deal a lot of damage. Well, there's normal, and then on the other end there's bloody, which means you're going to deal a lot of damage, but you also leave yourself defenseless, and it uses up more physical stamina. So you got to be careful with that. This bar up here, which is black right now, but if you click on an NPC or another character, it's going to show their name here, and then it's going to show you their health bar. So that's something to keep an eye on when you're fighting, to compare their health bar to your health bar, and you can also see it for character names. But remember, it's role-playing, so if you're talking to another NPC, try to introduce yourself rather than just be like, oh, hello, so-and-so. And then there's help. If you need help explaining, you know, if you've never played an RPG, here's information on how to play and how to get into character. User interface. What I love for this is there's commands, and if you go to chat-related commands, there's a lot. But my favorite are under the emotes. They have a ton of commands you can use. So if you have your chat, you know, you can say greet, which some of these actually make your character move, some of them don't. Like greet is going to make your character greet. It greets everyone, or if you have a person selected, it will greet that person. Or, you know, you can sigh, which is going to say right here in the chat, it says that I sigh dramatically. And then you can, you know, sit, stand, and then another one that's great too is saying me, which is going to place my first name there, and I'm going to say, like, if I'm, you know, I walked into the tavern, looks around the tavern, except for I'm not sure how to spell tavern. Right, so I press enter. It's gonna say, Aurea looks around the tavern to see who's all there. So a lot of those are pretty good for role-playing, so you don't have to type the whole thing if you just want to do a short sentence of, like, you know, she waves to so-and-so. That way you don't have to type in their names all the time either. It just automatically puts it in there. It's really great. So go through those. You'll like those. They have a lot of other commands you can use that help. And then obviously this last button is quit. And as you might consider, quit means to quit the game. And yeah, so that's the basics of the game. That's everything I wanted to cover for now. And I'm not sure there is much else to cover for the basics. Hopefully I will be keeping up with these videos and going through various tutorials. There is a forum that is sometimes up to date. If you need any help, they have great tutorials there that are text-based. I'm a visual learner, so I thought that this would help people with getting through this game, because I've heard a lot of people get frustrated with it because it's hard to figure out how to do different things. So I'm hoping to do tutorials on fighting, on learning skills, on training, on learning different crafts. If you guys are looking for an area in mind and you can't figure out what it is, you know, let me know. I will also be listing off, I got 2 websites that I have used a lot for one's a map, which shows you where different items are, different NPCs are, and then the other one's the forums. I'm going to list those off in the video description, and also if you guys need, you know, help getting through different quests or something like that, I will do my best to try to take you through those if I can. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you guys need help, just put it in the chats, or if you have any requests. Bye!